At this time, we know that a car was driven directly at members of the public outside the Heaton Park Hebrew Congregation Synagogue on Middleton Road, Crumsall, in Manchester.
The Greater Manchester Police Chief Constable has just given an update on some of the details of the absolutely horrific terrorist attack that has taken place on a synagogue in Manchester. Let's take a listen.
The driver of the car was seen then to attack people with a knife. He was wearing about his body a vest which had the appearance of an explosive device.
That is absolutely shocking. So this man, he brutally murdered two individuals. You'll now hear, as we hear him speak, that there are, very sadly, two individuals confirmed to be members of the Jewish community dead, and there are four in hospital. My thoughts and prayers are with them. I hope that all of them make it. But the members of the Jewish community inside that synagogue, they barricaded the doors and stopped this man from gaining access. If it is the case, as the police suspect, that he had an explosive device on him, I don't even want to think about how this would have ended and how many people, more people, would have lost their lives as a consequence of this. So well done to those heroes that stopped that man from getting inside that synagogue, because I mean, it's already an incredibly distressing day, heartbreaking day. I've no doubt that people in the Jewish community are feeling absolutely terrified at the moment. It could have been even more horrifying had that man got inside, if it is the case that he had an explosive device. Extremism and anti-Semitism is alive and kicking in this country, and I think today is a big wake-up call that something needs to be done about it.
There were a large number of worshippers attending the synagogue at the time of this attack, but thanks to the immediate bravery of security staff and the worshippers inside, as well as the fast response of the police, the attacker was prevented from gaining access. All those inside were safely contained until police were able to confirm that it was safe to leave the premises. Yom Kippur is a day where we see our Jewish community attending their places of worship, places where they and their families should feel entirely safe from harm. I want to share my gratitude to all of those members of the public who called the police as soon as they saw what was happening. This allowed the quick response from our officers, who were able to act swiftly and bravely to bring this horrendous attack to an end. I also want to thank our partners from the other emergency services, local authorities, and the health service, who have provided their ongoing support to us throughout the day and will continue so to do over the coming days. I know that today's horrific events will have a significant impact on all of our communities, not only in Greater Manchester, but across our country. There will be lots of questions that people would like answers to, and quickly. But please understand that some of this will take time. What I can say is that the highly visible response to these dreadful incidents will be sustained as we work to understand the full circumstances of what has happened. I know that you will all join me in keeping those directly affected by what has happened in our thoughts and prayers. There are grieving families and communities at the heart of this, in Greater Manchester and beyond. I would therefore ask that people refrain from sharing disturbing and insensitive content online. If you have information, then share it with the police. We stand with all of those affected and will continue to do everything in our power to keep our communities safe. I thank you.
So that is the latest update there from the Greater Manchester Police Chief Constable. I mean, What a day. Absolutely shocking and heartbreaking. As I said earlier in the video, that man appeared to have an explosive device on him. That's what the police suspect. That would have been what drove them to the decision to shoot that man dead. So the suspect is deceased. But two other men have been arrested, and we understand that the police investigation into various individuals that may have been involved and perhaps part of a terror cell extends beyond Manchester. So it could be the case that there is a terror cell that spans beyond Manchester that was involved in this attack. There's currently, at the time of filming this, a Cobra meeting going on right now. Keir Starmer had to come back early. He was in Denmark speaking to European leaders about security and about how they can maybe stop immigration. But there was a far bigger security issue here at home, of course, that he had to fly back for. He's just gone in. He's gone into this Cobra meeting recently. At the time of filming this, he hasn't come out yet. Of course, there will be updates. I suspect he may well make some sort of public announcement outside Downing Street. Let's see. Nothing confirmed yet. But let's take a look at what he said when he came off the plane.
The attack in Manchester this morning is absolutely shocking, and all of our thoughts are with those affected. I'm on my way back to London. When I arrive, I will chair an emergency Cobra meeting. I'm already able to say that additional police assets are being deployed to synagogues across the country, and we will do everything to keep our Jewish community safe. I've spoken to Mark Gardner of the CST and Andy Burnham, Mayor of Manchester, and I want to thank the emergency services for the speed of their response.
So Keir Starmer, they're saying that they're going to do everything they can to protect the Jewish community, but a lot of people are saying too little, too late, quite frankly, to Keir Starmer, and saying that he's turned a blind eye, and so have previous governments, to anti-Semitism. There's been all this talk about Islamophobia, but not much talk about anti-Semitism. A lot of people feel like he hadn't done enough. Of course, we do not know the details about the suspect yet. Peter Blexley has been speaking on GB News with Martin Daubney, and what he has said is one of the reasons why that perhaps has not been released yet is not necessarily because they are withholding it from us, because they don't want us to know who he is, but for safety reasons. So, for example, if the name of the suspect is released, people may go and may find and go to that man's address. That address may be booby-trapped. It may have explosives. And there are also two other individuals who have been arrested. The police will need to go to those properties and make sure that they are safe, for example, before they can possibly release the information to the public. I expect, and I should think, that they have perhaps learnt their lessons from Southport and will try to release that information to the public as soon as it's safe to do so, rather than saying we cannot do so we don't prejudice a trial. It's quite common with terrorist incidents that they are able to tell us who the individuals are and what their background is. With regards to speculation and information being shared online, as you know, we cannot speculate about the motive and who this individual was. But you did have the police there trying to urge people, the chief constable there, not to share any sort of sensitive content, distressing content online. But you know, sadly, we live in the 21st century. There are pictures and videos all over X. Which many of you may have seen already, because that is how fast-paced the internet works. What was interesting is when they did choose to shoot this individual dead, of course, there's the worry that then the explosives that were it sounds like may have been attached to him would have gone off. The police desperately were trying to clear the area to try and get people out of the way so that they could do that, because even though there was a man running around with a knife and potentially explosives attached to him, there were bystanders hanging around and filming it and taking pictures and videos for social media. I can tell you I would have been legging it for my life if I was in that situation, but that's the 21st century where people like to film everything. We've got some of the details here. I'm going to show you in just a moment Julia Hartley-Brewer's absolutely shocking reaction to this on Talk TV. She says, "This is on you," to Keir Starmer. She is laying the blame on him. But before we get to that, let's just run through the details of what we know. So 2 members of the Jewish community were killed. And one of the updates, because before we heard that there were 3 people injured and in hospital, but one of the updates there from the Chief Constable is that is now 4 patients in hospital. We don't know exactly how serious all of their injuries are. I really do hope that that all of them make it. The emergency services are actually still at the scene as we speak at 5 in the afternoon. I think they've still got some things that they need to do there. Let's just take a look at the scene. You had so many, I mean, there is some aerial footage out there on Sky News as well, and the number of emergency services there was just, it was all the way down the big long roads. So many people very, very quickly deployed. The suspect was killed within 7 minutes of the first call. Very, very quick operation, and you know, as I said, they managed to get to this individual and have him shot dead before he managed to gain access to the synagogue. God help us, it would have been it's absolutely horrifying as it is, but it could have been 10 times more horrifying had he got inside the building. So anyone who wants to dismiss this as a small-scale terror incident, you know, be aware this was potentially about to be a very large-scale terror incident, but that man did not get inside. Of course, it's absolutely horrifying that anyone, 2 individuals, 2 members of the Jewish community, have lost their lives. I don't even want to have to think about what could have happened if he got inside, but that is what we're dealing with. There was a bomb disposal robot. I would show you the photograph, but it's quite graphic. You can see the knife, you can see the blood of the man laying on the ground who's been shot dead. There is a robot that is there nearby to try and dispose of the explosives. And it is understood that they managed to, there was a bang heard where it sounded like they were able to safely explode whatever he had on him. We've had the king say that him and the queen have been deeply shocked and saddened to learn of the horrific attack. What we don't know, this is a list of details from Sky News, we don't know the identity, we don't know the motive, and we don't know the exact condition of everyone who has been injured. Now I'm just going to show you before we end this Julia Hartley-Brewer's update. Absolutely scathing attack on Keir Starmer.
Just breaking news for the Prime Minister said that additional police assets will be deployed at synagogues across the country after that suspected terror attack at a synagogue in Manchester. Speaking as he flew back to the UK from a summit in Denmark to chair an emergency COPA meeting, he says, "We will do everything to keep our Jewish community safe." I've got to be honest with you, Prime Minister, I don't think you have done enough to keep our Jewish community safe. I think when you happily allow these pro-Palestinian marches on the streets, and yeah, the last government did too. I think it was a point when they were supportive of the Palestinian people and people in Gaza. They're just pro-Hamas marches. A lot of the people who organise them are very, very closely linked with the Hamas terrorists who launched the attack on October the 7th and still hold hostages right now, starved and beaten and tortured in tunnels under Gaza City and elsewhere. When so little's done, when pro-Palestinian activists are able to, you know, freely basically set off fireworks and act with impunity on our streets, as they did in London only last night. If you look at my social feed, you'll see I've just retweeted some images of that. Not a police officer inside. When a Jewish man, Gideon Folter, is told off for walking along on one of these pro-Palestinian marches against the route of traffic and being told he has to leave because he's openly Jewish. When children who go to schools that are Jewish schools are told, you know, don't wear don't wear your blazer, we don't want anyone to know you're Jewish. When every synagogue in this country has to have a guard outside, more than one guard outside, because of the fear of attacks. When people are routinely being harassed in the street, on social media, in public, on public transport. Sorry, it's too late. It's too late, Prime Minister. And when you recognise a Palestinian state, the cause that has been used to justify so much of the, not anti-Zionism, not pro-Palestinian, not anti-Israel, but anti-Semitic views and opinions and attacks on our streets, you gave them succor. You basically said, carry on, we'll give you the reward. That's what you did. This is on you. This is on you, Prime Minister. So don't you bloody dare say we'll put police outside synagogues. You're one of the reasons why there need to be police outside synagogues. Don't you bloody dare saying you want to keep the Jewish community safe in this country when you're part of the reason of why they are not. Shame on you. Shame on you.
There we go. Julia Hartley-Brewer on Talk there saying, shame on you, and this is on you, Prime Minister, sending a very strong message to Keir Starmer. Now, of course, we do not know the motive of the individual. We do not know his background at this stage. We cannot speculate, but I think it is fair to say that generally speaking, that those pro-Palestine marches that Julia Hartley-Brewer refers to there have included a lot of anti-Semitism, and arguably anti-Semitism may have been allowed to foster. We know that since those marches every Saturday have started after October 7th, that a lot of the Jewish community have said that they do not go into central London anymore because they are terrified, and we have seen Jewish homes attacked. So very, very interesting to see Julia Hartley-Brewer at the, one, we don't quite know the individuals yet, be willing to absolutely go for Starmer there. Absolutely shocking day. This is I think a big turning point where we're going to realise we really need to take extremism seriously in this country. My thoughts and prayers are with the families of the individuals sadly killed, sadly injured, and everyone in the Jewish community who must be quite shaken up and terrified at this time. Anyway, I'm Chloe Dobbs. Thank you very much for watching this video. That is the latest update. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell so you don't miss out on any more news updates.